Hey everyone, welcome to the Work Time Fun podcast. I'm your coworker L, and let's get started. Alright, on today's episode, we've got, let's see, what do we got? Actually, we're going to go over Halo, was that episode 5, and also Moon Knight episode 5. We're going to talk about some of the things that happened there and some of the thoughts I've had. And yeah, let's see where we go. I mean, we got a lot of people praising the current Moon Knight episode. I kind of have differing opinion there. So we'll get into that in a bit. And yeah, let's get started. Alright everyone, my bad. It's actually Halo episode 6, which is titled Solace. And this episode's a bit more of a story-driven episode. Not too much action here, unless if you count all the times that Master Chief tries to kill Dr. Halsey. Yeah, so, I mean, it continues on from the last episode where he learns the truth that she's responsible for kidnapping him as a child and basically turning him into the super soldier that he is now. So, yeah, he was ripped, torn away, kidnapped from his family and replaced with a copycat, like a clone of himself. And yeah, that's horrible. You find out that those clones don't last very long and they just suddenly die. So the parents are left with thinking that their child has passed on, when in reality they've been kidnapped and are being trained into super soldiers. Actually, that's more of a Marvel term, so let's say Spartans, like what they really are supposed to be. So I know I've been kind of ragging or just downplaying or just flat out giving just massive, how should I term this? I've just been giving negative reviews about this show or series ever since it started. And I don't know if that's fair to say. It is dipping in a lot of polls and things I see online. But, it's okay. It's kind of warming up to me. Let's just say that. It's strange because I originally, did want to get Paramount Plus subscription just to watch Halo. And then I kind of branched off and started watching all the Star Trek shows that they have out there. And man, I'm going to take off on a tangent here, but man, those Star Trek shows, it gave me false hope. I had some great expectations out of them, out of Discovery, out of Picard. And what I was left with after the second or third seasons of those shows is like, man, what the hell's going on? Like Star Trek Picard, all right, cool, we're going somewhere with this first season. And then second season's this weird, time traveling craziness going on. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. I'll probably make a separate discussion about Star Trek, especially since there's going to be a new one this week, speaking of which. It's the Star Trek Discovery. No, not Discovery. That's another one that, I had high hopes for, and that just turned into like a sob fest for season 2 and 3. I caught up. What is it, season 4 right now? Man, high hopes. Had high hopes. Anyways, it's, what I mentioned in prior episodes or podcasts, Strange New Worlds, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. And that's with Anson Mount. He is the actor that actually played Black Bolt in the Inhumans, the Marvel's Inhumans show, I guess, that really sucked. That used to air on Channel 10 or ABC television. And man, let's see. I like him as an actor. I just didn't like the Inhumans show. And, there's a leak. Going off in another tangent, but Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness is coming out this weekend. This is me speaking as of early May. And we have Doctor Strange, which is set to come out on May 6th, which is a Friday here. And yeah, I'm all set and ready to watch that. Are all of you? Oh man, it's so hype. So much going on. Holy crap, I just went off from like Halo to Doctor Strange, but hey, it's all good. That's what's a podcast all about, right? Okay, let's roll back to Halo. Okay, so we got Halo. This past week's episode, like I said, it's all story driven, and it's interesting because you get a Master Chief that's kind of unhinged. You know, he's really upset with Dr. Halsey, like more than upset. He's like freaking furious and just going crazy about what she's done, stripping him of his childhood and turning him into a Spartan, you know, brain zombie killer. Not zombie, but you know what I mean. He's just follows orders. That's it. He doesn't have any opinions of his own. That's until actually he gets that artifact and also removes his little, you know, emotional inhibitor chip thing. So, same thing happened with Kai. That's why she got all messed up. Oh, man. Okay. So, I like Halo now. It's a strange because I used to bag on it. And for the sense that, okay, I'm getting used to it. Who cares if Master Chief takes off his helmet or takes off his armor or even takes off all of his clothes? It's fine by now, whatever. At least we're getting to the, you know, really meat and potatoes of the story here, getting closer to it at least, and seeing the real struggle. I mean, we're seeing the Halo rings actually being talked about now, and we're getting deeper into like what's gonna make this show about, which is, you know, reaching Halo and getting the whole battle between the human UNSC and also the Covenant. So I'm all amped for that. I mean, it's taking a little bit longer to get there, but hey, you know, it's something to watch while we're in between different shows or movies, right? So I gotta make use of my Paramount Plus subscription, right? Especially since Star Trek hasn't been up to par. Well, I hope that this Thursday actually is going to be the premiere for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I'm excited for that. So let's see how it goes. I'm probably going to make Star Trek, if I start liking it more, part of what I also discuss, like I am now. But if not, then I'll probably just be watching it and just leaving off to the side. Unless I'll make one episode about Star Trek specifically and see if that catches any, listens, and I'll make more of it. Until then, we'll just see. All right, Halo, it's all right. More story, more things about Covenant and UNSC and getting that Halo ring thing, and hopefully there's more. All right, moving on. All right, Moon Knight, episode 5, Asylum. Now, this is really story-driven for Moon Knight. I mean, a little bit of action in the boat that we'll talk about in a bit. But, I mean, this one is a lot of background. A lot of things that were like, okay, how did Oscar Isaac's character, Mark Spector, or Stephen Grant, or supposedly Jake Lockley also, how did he become Moon Knight? That's explained in here. What's the story between, like, Layla's father and Mark's involvement in his death? You know, that's explained there, or that's shown there. And how did Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, all those personas, and Jake Lockley possibly, how did that all come about? That's explained in this episode, and it's crafted very well, and to the same point, acted quite well, very well. I mean, superbly by Oscar Isaac, and yeah, no doubt about that. Dude's a master at his craft. Superb actor. But not so much in action in this episode. And, you know, this is episode 5. So you hear everyone praising, like, oh man, Oscar Isaac's so good. He's so great. This episode's so powerful. It, like, explains so much. You understand so much about Moon Knight and everything and blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I get that. But come on, man. It took up to episode 5 to finally reach this point. I mean, jeez. That's why I said I still like Loki better, because that built up. I mean, there's some up and down moments, but at least it just all built up. It, like, the momentum, you know, just kept snowballing into like this bigger thing. Whereas this Moon Knight series, I've been feeling like I've been in a roller coaster that's just been like going up and down, you know, teasing me with that big drop, but never really doing it, like not successfully. At least, you know, just pulling me for a loop every once in a while here, but, you know, nothing that really thrills or excites me is, you know, like, say, a really huge drop in a, you know, roller coaster or something. I don't know. Trying to make an analogy there. So, yeah, I mean, I like this episode. Don't get me wrong, but I wish we had more of this like early on so that we could build up to more excitement of what we're gonna get in this final episode 6 that's coming up on Wednesday, a couple days here. And I feel like it's too short. So I don't know if the plan for Marvel MCU is to make another season of Moon Knight, because that's what it kind of leads me to believe. If they've built up so much and they're only leaving it to the end, that I mean there's too much left over for us to just all make it just work in one final episode to just wrap everything up. It's too much. And it's either Moon Knight has to have another movie or Moon Knight has to have another season. And we were kind of led to think that maybe there might be another season. And that's because, like, when you see some of the commercials or trailers that they put out, that the MCU, Marvel, pumps out for the last season finale, there's a word right there. Season finale. They didn't say series finale. They wrote season finale. So I'll have to double check again just to make sure that that's what they kept written or described on the episode, on those trailer episode things online on YouTube and whatever. So yeah, it makes you ponder if we're going to have a season 2, which would make sense then, because now we have more time to explore Moon Knight and see all this stuff. And they don't necessarily have to make a really expensive and kind of, a movie that may or may not be successful for, the theaters, but could be really successful in Disney Plus streaming. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are on that. I mean, not to take anything away from this Moon Knight episode series, or this Moon Knight series in whole. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. Still, in my top 3, maybe top 2. Okay, maybe still behind Loki for sure. Loki still takes the cake here, and then maybe Moon Knight second place, or kind of WandaVision actually, because as WandaVision, that had a slow ramp up, but as soon as you got to the end of Wanda, you're like, holy crap, this show's incredible. And then, and it all leads up to what this weekend's coming, like I mentioned earlier when I was talking Halo and went off on a tangent there. You've got Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. You've got Doctor Strange, this movie, it's going to be a sequel to WandaVision. It's going to be a sequel to Doctor Strange. It's going to be a sequel to What If. I mean, that's everything I'm hearing of what this is going to be about. So, man, I'm so excited, so hyped. And I can't wait to see who is really a part of that Illuminati. We already hear Professor X, which is Patrick Stewart's voice. You can see his bald head, even though he tried denying it. It's for sure him. Plus, I think we see in another trailer a little glimpse of his his wheelchair thing from the cartoon series, animated cartoon in the 90s. Get that gold chair or yellow hover chair thing. And yeah, I wonder how many more Illuminati members we're going to have from the MCU universe. Oh man, this could be something here. I can't wait. Oh man, went off on a tangent again. All right. So Moon Knight, you know what? I saw some things online, TikTok particularly, a lot of theories of what people have been describing, and man, there's some very plausible things here. Some things I noticed, like I watched back episode 1 actually, so I took some time back to look at, or actually hear some of the things hear and see. Of course, watching episode 1 of Moon Knight, episode 2, so forth, so on. But actually, in the first episode, when he's doing the gift shop stuff and talking with his manager, boss lady at the gift shop, he's putting Tarot-Wit dolls, the little hippos, away. He's handing it over to the lady, and they have little hippo Tarot-Wit figurines or stuffed animal dolls. And then when he's talking about the Ennead poster or banners that they have, only showing 7, but there's supposed to be 9. And then I didn't notice before that there's a whole poster of the Egyptian god family tree, and then the whole slew of them that's out there. It's interesting that he mentioned there's supposed to be 9 in the Ennead. I think I counted 9 seats when they did that whole meeting when Khonshu, he did the solar eclipse or lunar eclipse thing, or he made the sky change and called for all the gods to have a conference meeting inside of the pyramid. Okay, so there are 4 seats, but there's only like 5 of them, or 6 if you also include Khonshu, but 5 others, and then 5 left after they also banish him again or put him into stone. So yeah, I mean, there's some clues that are hidden back and forth between what's happened early on in the series versus what's happening later on in the series. So that's pretty cool for all you Easter egg hunters out there, for all these things that tie in the episodes or shows together. Who knows, maybe there's gonna be some Easter eggs that tie into the movies too. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. So can't wait to see how those come about. Oh, I even forgot to mention, there was that scene when Stephen Grant, the persona, was talking with a little girl at the museum, and she was like kind of making a mess, and then he goes on to explain to her about the whole mummification process or whatever, and then just as he was talking about how they have to go through the field of reeds, the little girl's like, "Oh, so how did it feel when you're rejected from the field of reeds?" And then like, what? So I was gonna say Marc Steven was all like, "But what? I'm not dead. Am I dead? Am I?" Well, it's so strange because that ties into what just happened in this previous episode, episode 5, of him actually falling off the boat on the sands of Duat, whatever you call it, and then as they're traveling to the field of reeds, or when they're actually traveling to get out of there, and then all of the whatever those monsters that come out of the sand, all their what's it called? All the people that Marc killed, basically, and they're trying to take them down from the sand because their hearts haven't balanced with the feather to allow them to pass through and into the field of reeds. But then when things get close and then Steven tries to save Marc, he falls over the edge of the boat and onto the sand and becomes trapped there forever. So, did that little girl in episode 1 foreshadow what happened here in episode 5? Hey, that's something. Huh? Or is that something a little bit more nefarious for that little girl? Let's see. I think it was just something extra that the directors put in there, honestly. Not too much to think about it. And then at the end of the journey, Marc makes it out to the field of reeds. And he's there, just pondering what the hell's going to go on. He actually needs to come back. Of course, we all know he's going to come back because that's what all the trailer episodes show for the last episode, episode 6. So, yeah, hey, let's all tune in and watch that. Right? All right. So, cool. Kind of that does it for me. I got to prep and be ready so I can talk about everything that's coming out this week. We've got the final episode of Moon Knight. We've got all the stuff on Thursday for Paramount Plus stuff, which is like, all right, maybe I'll talk about Star Trek. They all come out. Talk about latest Halo. Talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, since that's new. And then lastly, Friday. Oh, man. I really hope I get my microphone set up so I can get all my buddies that we're watching together to discuss it and then see how that turns out. So otherwise, you just listen to little old me. All right, everyone. Well, again, that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me. So until next time, have a fantastic day.